What's up, guys? It's time for week 4 bets. If you're like me and you bet a lot on the Packers on Thursday night, you have a lot of making up to do. But let's take a look back at last week before we move on to this week. We got a nice win last week. A lot of tough losses. So last week we had the Titans and the Seahawks money line. Titans up to +8. They got their shit kicked out of them. I'm selling my Titan stock as much as I can right now because Tannehill is hot garbage. The Lions, though, covered -3 against the Falcons, so that was nice. My 3-team moneyline parlay for +1100, which hypothetically would have won me $1,100 on a $100 bet. Packers hit, Chargers hit, Broncos did not hit. That's what you do when you do crazy moneyline bets. Sometimes it comes back to bite you. But let's move ahead here. This is my favorite bet of the week. That's what I have the most action on. Eagles -3 against the Commanders. Vikings money line -106. That's a battle there between the Panthers and the Vikings of two winless teams. So there's two winless matchups this week. That's one of them. The other one being the Bears and the Broncos. If you're betting on the Bears and the Broncos, you have some issues. I'm just going to say that. You should call the hotline. The reason I'm betting on this other winless game is the Vikings are the best winless team in football. They can put a banner of that in US Bank if they want. They barely lost to a decent Chargers team last week in a shootout. They've had some tough losses after last year. They won all those close games. They're going against, looks like Bryce Young's going to be back. I don't care if it's Young. I don't care if it's Dalton. This is a bad Panthers team with no weapons on offense. Could be people are saying a Thielen revenge game. I think he's way past his prime anyway. Jefferson's pissed off. This Vikings team is pissed off. I like the Vikings here. Parlay that with the Eagles -3. There were questions about the Eagles after their sloppy Thursday night win against the Vikings. Thursday night games suck. You get 3 days rest. You could see yesterday Jordan Love wasn't prepared for it. So that was thrown out the window when they took care of Tampa pretty easily. I think the Commanders and Sam Howell's going to be much of the same thing, buying the Eagles down to -3, getting close to even money. They just need to win by a field goal. Vikings just need to win. I like that one. Moving on to bet number 2. This is the straight bet of the day. Um, I'm just riding the wave on the Dolphins. I usually don't like to follow the popular trends because the public's usually wrong. But Dolphins +2.5. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a close game, is what everyone thinks. I think the Dolphins take this personally. They almost won in the playoff game last year with Skylar Thompson as quarterback. This has revenge game written all over it. They're lucky enough to play the Bills before it gets too cold. The Bills look for real again. I'm not discounting the Bills at all. These are two juggernauts. It's going to be a fantastic game. I just like getting a couple of points here. If the Bills win, but there's been a lot of weird 1 point, 2 point games. I like the 2.5. If you want to buy the Dolphins up to 3, you could feel even better about that. Or buy them up to 5 or 6, tease them with someone else. Like that too. I just had to pick this game. It's too fun of a game. And I've made a lot of money on the Bills the last few years. But you got to find these teams when they're on the come up. And that's what I did a few years ago with the Bills, Josh Allen's second year and on. They weren't getting a lot of love by the odds makers, and you can make money like that if you're taking them. And that's where I feel like the Dolphins are. People are still unsure about this Dolphins team. They're not scoring 70 points every week. They're not scoring 50 points this week, but give me the Dolphins and their explosive offense +2.5. Finally, 4-team parlay +1205. We got the Steelers -2.5. And I know I just said it was going to be a shootout, but that seems too easy. Everyone's taking the over 52.5. Bills Dolphins. Go under, zag, and sweat that out. Browns -2.5 against the Ravens. Rams -1 and -1 against the Colts. So one by one, Steelers gotta get their shit together on offense. Texans look like a scrappy, feisty team. They're at home. CJ Stroud's looking like the real deal. However, hasn't faced a D like the Steelers quite yet. TJ Watt's a difference maker. The question is if Pickett gets going. I think he does. I think Pickett can get going. They can involve Pickens more. I like the Steelers there. Road teams are doing very well this year, so I don't really care who's at home when it comes to that. Steelers fans also travel well. There'll be a ton of terrible towels in Houston. Bills Dolphins, like I said, sweat out the under on that one. And then the AFC South, once again, I'm taking the Rams -1 over the Colts. The Colts, people may be on them a little bit after winning against the Ravens last week. Fluky game. The Colts always win a fluky game early in the season. I'm not buying the Colts. Sean McVay is a much better coach in this situation. Stafford's the much better quarterback. Give me the Rams, depth issues aside. And then finally, speaking of the Ravens going against the Browns, I think the Ravens are a legitimate playoff contender. However, the Browns defense is a top 3 defense, and they're trying to stake their claim in this division. And I think they do so emphatically. They've already done that against Steelers in the Bengals. Now they do against the Ravens. Give me the Browns staking their flag on the AFC North. I like that. All 4 of those have to hit, of course, to get that crazy payout. But once again, you have a little bit of a safer tease. Nothing's really safe. You have the game of the week, taking the Dolphins with the points, and then the crazy 4-teamer. Really, this is believing in the AFC North with the Steelers and the Browns, discounting AFC South against the Texans and the Colts. We're playing the Rams. And taking the under when everyone's taking the over. There's your week 4 picks. Have fun. Gamble safely. We'll see you next week for week 5.
How much I'm working for this? I swear my dreams are too important.